Well, hello everybody, and I hope that you didn't even notice that little screw up with the music. I hate it too when that happens. I try to produce a nice show, and then it happens like this. Okay, I want to do a nice half-hour video. It's almost 1 p.m. here in an undisclosed location in California, but I want to talk about the parallel canals. And I went there, and honestly, the Adrar Plateau looks like, okay, what's going on? I gotta stop using this photo thing. I don't like the pop-ups. Can I use the arrows or something? Of course, it goes the other direction. No? Okay, well, let's do it this way. I'll just do them one at a time. These pictures are of the parallel canals. And what you have is about 10 feet. Okay, these trees are more than 10 feet. These trees are like 20 feet high. I stood there, I looked up at them, and estimated a good twice my height is 12 feet and even higher, and maybe sticking up a little bit higher than the upper plateau there. So that's what I'm showing you today. I'm going to give you a couple more shots. Here, this is another shot of the same thing. I just turned my camera to the right, so you see the trees filling in the canal here. I was standing outside. This canal goes straight for 12 miles and 8 kilometers. I just want to show you at the bottom there really is a flat surface, so rivers don't create straight lines. And inside this canal, there's more to show you than just these canals here. What's going on here? Is this the same picture? Okay, so it's going through. Okay, this is good. I'm getting it this way. I kind of want it this way. As you can see, the trees grow at the bottom, and I believe it's because it was once full of water. And the trees are naturally attracted to the soil solidified. When I say solidified, I mean soil-lidified sand that was able to grow a tree. Because outside, up on top, now you see some trees over here, but in general, there's no plants. There's no organics at all. This is pure rock up here. And you can even see some score marks that I will talk about. So if you didn't know where this was, you can see down in the lower right corner here, and by the way, I can get a little closer, right? The Chinguetti is nearby. The top of the Adrar Plateau is right here. This is the highest point in the Adrar Plateau. So when you're looking at this, you're seeing basically these two straight lines. I can go there in the map and show you, but I kind of want to keep going here. This is where I was, where the arrow points. That's pretty much where I was, and I could take a picture. And actually, when you go up to the top, you come up at the top right about here. Candida without optimism. It's been so long since I've seen you. I'm going to keep going here. Nice to see you. This little area here, and if you zoom in, it can't be zoomed in on. So I'll just come in. I don't know. Maybe I'll be lucky and it'll work. But if I go here, and then I zoom over, yeah, that's kind of cool. No, it goes back out. So as you can see, I call him Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And this is a very important place. Now, the two parallel canals go on both sides of him. Let me zoom in and get real close so you can see what I'm talking about. So the parallel canals on both sides, and then the highest point on the Adrar Plateau is there. And he's got a little nose, but he's actually got two noses. Thank you, High Seat Gaming, for joining. I also want to talk about this thing and all sorts of things going on. Okay, let's get into it. So we'll zoom in onto the Rudolph. Maybe you've seen this from me before. And I outlined the part of the plateau that is the highest point. I almost want to check is the highest point. And here if I'm talking. Okay, I'm just getting a little paranoid that you can't hear me. And look how loud I was. So when you zoom into this thing, that high point, that's like a cliff. And there's like an escarpment, kind of. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to walk up and stand right here. And I do intend on doing that next time. But I got a picture from a distance. And I'll show you that in a second. But what I want to show you is there are score marks here when you look closely at these score marks, you can even see one that goes right through the nose. And you can see one that goes right through the saddled mountain down here. So is there a way to get zooming in here? You've got two little mounds. And I've got a picture of that for you. And I'll show you from the ground. I took that picture. There it is. And what you see is the two mounds. They're mountains. I think that's got a name like Tom Yat. But the funny thing is they've only named one of the two. And then over here is the high point of the Adrar Plateau. So that would have taken a hike, and I wasn't up for it. I didn't have the facilities to do it that day. But as you can see, we can look at topographical information here. Let's zoom in on Google Earth a little bit, because I want to make sure you can see these score marks. There's one there, there's one there. This whole area was worked, and I do feel like they took this content, maybe they were mining it, quarrying it. I don't think these are canals. I think that this are score marks. Okay, when you zoom back out of here and go over here, you can see a lot more. Hi there, Delia. Are you avoiding trains? I'm just, let's see here. I don't know about a pyramid, but those score marks show that some type of activity was going on. It's not even perfectly straight. Like, they were kind of sloppy about it. They're not parallel very well. It seems like they got to this point and then the score mark moved over. And I don't think that's attributed to tectonic movement. Chinese saga is over. Don't try to change the subject on me too much, but I'm curious what you're talking about. Was that something personal, or was that something recent in the news? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm looking at the score marks around the plateau. These are kind of significant here. And by the way, Delia, you're very close to Dar, or your Manhattan. Delia, who's in the live chat, she was... I do have to say that Michelle Chen was going on about it a few years earlier, but we hadn't met yet. And I kind of ignored her. Look at that. See that 45-degree line right there? This is quarrying of some sort. And it's pointing right at the highest point. It's going right across. I don't know what happened here, but you can see these straight lines going right through there. And your Manhattan, which is right over here, there's the parallel canal, which I want to show you a video I created. There's your score marks. There's your Dar. It's right here. Manhattan is over here. And it's got the same score marks right on top of it. I know you think there was a city up there. Well, if there was, I believe that they machined it down. By hand, I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of... look at these lines. There's a lot of straight lines here, and they're not very perfect. And machines usually make perfect lines. Let's go over to another part of the Richat structure. Actually, on the other side. Where are we? Let me get over here. I do want to make sure this is part of the... It's right over here. Now, let's zoom in so I can show you exactly where it is. Because when it comes to quarrying in the Richat structure... Okay, it's over here. This is a very significant area here, too. You can come down to about here and then turn it and look straight down, and you see the straight lines. And that looks like it was a machine. Although some of them get a little bit, worn down by what looks like foot traffic. I also believe that the foot traffic happened afterwards. So I also want to mention this is not the highest part of the plateau. The highest part of the plateau is over here, and they're not doing any machining or quarrying. You've got an in-between point, the highest, which is 2,000 feet above sea level, and then you've got the lowest, which is out here. It's an ancient lake covered by sand. And this is a shoreline right here. This whole area is a shoreline. And then you've got the playa at the bottom of the lake, dried up. And then you've got the sand covering it up. How far did that body of water go? In my opinion, this whole thing was full of water. And where was the ancient Taman Reset Paleo River? To all of those who say, how can it be 2,000 feet up in the air? There's nothing there. Okay, first of all, there was something here. This was the ancient Paleo Taman Reset River. It went up over this, and then it came back down, and it came out about here. You can find canals all over this area here. Ancient canals, super messed up from possible tectonic activity. You've got the dribble mountains, which I say is a overburden dumping or tailings, or I heard a new term, which I will not use, muck. Okay, cave muck. I figure I'll stick with overburden dumping because it kind of goes in with gold mining. But as we get back in here, you see the parallel canals that I visited. And I want to show you this video that I did. Where's that one? Here it is. Let's see if we can get it going. Okay, I kind of followed the canal for the whole way. This is the one I walked in. And it gets a little thicker with trees at one point. But then it kind of thins out. It gets covered with sand, and I back out a little bit to show you that. It's coming up next. But you can see now on the north and the south side of that is pure stone. I mean, if we stop that video, let's just take a quick look. You see the trees in the middle of the canal, but on both sides of the canal is pure rock. No trees. I mean, you might have a rare bush. That looks like a tree there. That looks like a tree there. But in general, this is all sandstone. Now, when I say sandstone, I say it's like vitrified sandstone. To me, it's not just sandstone. Again, there's the canal, straight line for about 18 kilometers. And yeah, I walked in there. Okay, if this was underwater, they wouldn't need a canal. So the canal, I kind of feel like was some kind of flood control. I'm going backwards a little bit. I don't know why I did that. But one of the other things you can see at 30 seconds. Let's go back to 30 seconds. And I'll show you. Is that 31? 31's not good enough. I need 30. Okay, so let's go before 30 seconds. And I just want to stop right at the 30 point, because that's where you see these score marks. One here. And you can see a parallel one right there. And they are going like into the canal. This is going downwards into the canal. We're talking about... Are you talking about China still? Streets were clean and safe and people were moderately polite, albeit in their mental shelf. But now China is finished. Hey, Candide, you always ask me, why am I still in Taiwan? Why don't I go back home to live in the wonderful United States? Well, here I am. Yeah, these concrete jungles in Mauritania, in the Richat Stucture area on the Adrar Plateau, probably had a layer of topsoil. And there were probably buildings, and then something big happened, and then other people came and took everything away, and they quarried the hell out of this place. Now, I think that there was some quarrying going on a long time ago, and then later on, again, they did it in more modern day. Maybe if you believe it couldn't have been humans, then you've got your modern day humans doing quarrying later, as Randall Carlson says. Hi, Ziggy Dan. I'm just showing the parallel canal that I walked down. And this video was taken from Google Earth. But if you take a look at it, you can see an 18-kilometer long. And you missed the close-up shots. I'll try to go through them one more time for the latecomers. This is the other side of the canal that's more sandy. There's a few, but there's not a lot of trees inside this part. They look more like bushes. But the other side were 20-foot tall trees. So let's assume, and by the way, that's a higher part of the plateau. So this is going down the hill and at the same time allowing for drainage to go off the west side of the Adrar Plateau. One of the highest points in the Adrar Plateau, I might add. So why are there two... Okay, there's another spot right there. So you can see this score mark. They're all going in the same direction. Now, was that like another canal? Not likely. That looks like just a score mark. And you see these all over the top of the Adrar Plateau and all these other plateaus. Oh, look at that. Let's go. Oh, it started over. So the very ending had something I wanted to see. Let's go to the very ending. Oops. See these lines up here? Let's go to the real thing. Let's get out of here. Ziggy, I don't know if I do want to show that again. I have this faster video. Let's take a look at it. It shows it pretty fast. That's the northern part. It's like the same video, and I just closed up. So this is actually the same. You can see that score mark right there. And they're all going in the same direction. So that was a fun little walk. Yeah, you can see the score mark there, and then you get a bunch over here that are lined. The Tropic of Capricorn. The Tropic of Capricorn goes around the whole Earth. So what part are you talking about? I know where the Tropic of Capricorn is near the Richat. Let's take a look and see it. Now, if you want to know where it is, I believe that the Tropic of okay, first of all, let's go north-south. I believe that the Tropic of Capricorn starts right at this point, more or less. Now, 23.5, right? So look at down there in the bottom right corner. That's 23.5 right there. So where are you talking about? I mean, there's the Tropic of, let's put in the center. We'll put in the center. That's 23.5 right there. And by the way, if you don't know, check out Ziggy Dan's channel. He is the nub master. If you are interested in nubs, and not the nubs that I find, but the nubs that are on polygonal stone masonry, check out Ziggy Dan's channel. Do you have an at? Because they used to put it up here. I was at Stig, and now it's not showing up anymore. Why don't you type your at, Ziggy Dan? Because I always want everybody to... That's me. I don't know if you have an at. Okay, anyways, so you said Botswana. Botswana is at the Tropic... Oh, Capricorn! Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so that's down here. Yeah, sorry. Not Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn is also 23.5, right? Down here. So I don't know. Interesting you mentioned 23 is right here. 23.5 is right here. You're right. It is Botswana. Okay, well, I didn't doubt you. Let's get in there. So what? I'm sorry. What are we looking for? Similar lines going right across the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so that's 23.5 is right here. The question is, and I know that this is like Botswana. Is that Lake Victoria right there? I guess I better turn on the map style everything. And of course, everything doesn't include the tropic. We can turn on grid lines. Now, but see, that doesn't help us much with the tropic. Wait, why is it up there? It says 31.30. What? Oh. Am I going crazy? Okay, that's not right. That says 23.25. I don't know why it's a little bit off. Okay, well, yeah, it's very interesting. You said Botswana. Let's see where we are. Botswana's up here, right? That's Zimbabwe. Here's Botswana over here. Okay, there's the Tropic of Cancer. Capricorn. Let's get in there and take a look. I don't know what this 23 point. This is a weird. I mean, honestly, this isn't where the Tropic of Capricorn should be. It should be 23.5. So I don't know what's going on here. We're just taking a brief detour. Let's go to just so we know we got the whole country. There it starts right here. We're going to go across that whole spot. And by the way, let me just turn this off now. And those off as well. We know that 23... I don't know. I'm going to do both. Let's get 23.5 in there. It's down here. I don't understand why they're putting it there. Do you? It's supposed to be. Okay, let's do both slowly. I think we can go across here. I can't see the 0.5, but we'll go this way first. There. Oh, look at these dots. What are those? Oh, those are... that's a watering hole for animals. In general, that's what those things are. And lots of them are here. This little thing is farming, I would think. And this is the official Tropic of Capricorn, but it's not really... What are those? Oh, wait, what's that one? There you go. What's that? That's a road. Let's back out a little bit. Let me put the grid lines back on. Let's follow it this way. It's a little faster, right? We're going to go back, though. We're going to go back and do the because I got to see exploration as well. We got to see the edge of the country. Okay, so we're not even halfway through Botswana, so this could be anywhere. I'll have to check out for those videos you mentioned. I just don't understand why it's showing it at 23.25. That's not what I learned. But let's check the other one. Is that... I'm going to do this later, Ziggy. And by the way, if you didn't know, the equatorial New Guinea is not over the equator, so that's another misnomer. Up here, was I right? Oh, see? Well, I knew where the 23.5 was, but here it's showing it here. So what's the reading? It says 23.26, 23.25. Tropic of Cancer is right there. Nice. It says Cancer. I didn't know I was wrong about the degrees on that. I thought for sure that it was 23.5. So that's interesting. Let me have a drink. Hold on. It's not alcohol. It's coffee. I'm reading your comments. Let me go back to what I was talking about. I don't want to get too far off the topic, but I do like to deal with the now, and you're joining me now. Let me turn off this stuff, and then I want to show you a couple more things. Where's that? Did I just do it wrong? Grid lines. What did I just turn off? Clean, and there's something else I just messed up, right? All right, well, let's stick with... Oh, what's that? See, I did do something wrong. What did I do? Photos. Let's turn off the photos. Although that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. Okay, this video is going to be over very soon. Oh, no, I got 7 more minutes. Okay, good. So, yeah, I went here. Now, what I was trying to show on this plateau were these cuts, but you do see them everywhere. Now, there's some other terraforming going on here. Let me see. I pretty much went through everything. Let me see. I want to start from the beginning because there's a few latecomers that didn't get to see it. This image is inside the canal. I stood here. This is about... That tree doesn't look like the one. A few of them are 20 feet high. Why is it being so difficult? Okay, the next one was this one. I was panning from right to left, and the video sucked. I don't... Look at those really high ones up there. You know, I kind of am interested what I missed. I don't recall what those were. I'd like to go over... Sometimes some people were stacking rocks up, but that's pretty high over there. Anyways, here's all the trees. Look how dense those trees are. Yes, High Sea Gaming. I think that our modern day civilization will one day be destroyed. Okay. See, I want to roll it, but it's grabbing the wrong photos. So I think this is going with the flow. This is, again, between the two. Now, that one is way over there. Trying to remember where everything was laying out. But this was on this, what I'm calling the south side. This, what looked like it was actually a carved, flattened bottom. And by the way, up close, you tend to see these same score marks. So we see the big ones, and then we see some kind of what look like small ones. Doesn't that look like 1, 2, 3, 4 parallel lines? And I was seeing that all over the place. I'm going to show you some more. First, let's look at these in order. This was the canal and the trees in the middle. I'm going to have to look up, if anybody doesn't know, Candide said xerophytes. I don't know what that means. I want to look that up. Xerophytes definition. And guess what I got? No, oh, there it is. Look what it says up here, xerophytes. But then here's xerophyte, meaning a plant that is adapted to an arid environment. Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, these xerophytes, thank you. These xerophytes are definitely getting their water from somewhere. I say the concentration of water is there because water used to be there and it naturally created an under soil rather than rock or sand that kind of held organics together and enabled the ability to grow. And there's, again, how dense it really got. This is the beginning of that video. It's very dense here at this spot. And I had to hike over a kilometer to get here. It was quite a walk, and then later I found a road that crosses that. Now, this is the rest of the area. Again, once you get up out of that canal, and yeah, you have a few trees in areas where water collects. So this was like a little tiny playa area, but the most of this whole area looks like this, like a war zone, right? Like total vitrification and melting. In my opinion, that doesn't even look like sandstone. So this has gone through HELL and back. By the way, I never realized this, but I did catch the highest point of the plateau back there. Look at that. Do you see the mountains? You can't see the two mountains because they're on the other side. But that is that high point. This is Rudolph right there. And I didn't even realize I did have a couple other pictures I took. Here's another side. And look at these score lines. I know they look natural. Most of you think they look natural. But just kind of weird when I walked over them and I saw these parallel lines. I don't think they're natural anymore because I've seen it with my own eyes. Down there, if we get in here, we're talking about this area. I just made a few pictures. I don't know if you were here yet. Structure on Earth, part 1 and 2. I'll have to double check that. You just showed me recently. I saw a couple things. The largest structure. You're talking about Australia, aren't you? I thought that I did watch at least one of the parts, and I thought that was the monolith in Australia. But I could be wrong. Because I don't think it was that. My grandparents went to that monolith. Yeah, the Red Mountain. Is that the monolith everybody visits? My grandparents went to that, and the pictures were interesting, but it didn't seem that large. And I knew it was the biggest monolith, but what is the measurement on that again? I have to double check. Let's do that. Let's do that live. Those are the things that I like to get from ChatGPT. The Red Mountain, yes. The Red Mountain. What is the measurements of it? And is that the monolith that my grandparents visited? What happened? Hold on, let's try that again. The Red Mountain measurements and dimensions. Oh, you know what you can do? Watch this. New paragraph. Okay, let's put a stop to that. ChatGPT is a son of a bitch. I'm talking about the largest freestanding structure in the world. New paragraph. Huh? I'm talking about geology, not a building. I'm talking about what stretches across Australia as well as the Tropic of Capricorn. What a hassle. All right, well, I'll get into this a little later. I didn't want to go crazy. I think I wanted to show one more thing. Where was it? And, well, I was showing all these things again because there's a few latecomers. I'm going to... Oh, Ayers Rock. Okay. That sounds familiar. Yeah, okay. I'm going to check that out. I promise, Dan. Is it Ziggy or is it Dan? Is that two names? My brother's name was Daniel. And let's see here. I wanted to show one more thing, but any last minute... Oh, yeah, it's right there. That's what I want to show you. So, again... They did some type of change to this plateau's edge. You see the edge, you see the lines of what I consider to be a quarry line, a cut, a starting point. Maybe it had to do with water runoff, but they're two parallel, and they're going at this weird angle. You know, if it's like natural, you would have them start like, okay, if you had natural water, there it is right there. There's the natural water right there. Water runs down here, it goes down there. Creates a little creek, and you can see another one over here that starts there. That's natural, right? But all these other lines we're seeing are going in an awkwardly separate direction. Over here on this side, you can see a couple of those cuts. And you can see the natural water direct go from like right here. You can even see bushes growing where the water flows through. So that's where the water goes. That's natural. At least it's a natural reaction to whatever it started with. But I do believe that this escarpment, since all these lines are finishing at the edge of the escarpment, that was an unnatural creation. And they had a lot of material, and they may have even created this nose, Rudolph's nose. It's got a line cutting right through it. I don't have an image. Do we have images here, photographs? Let's check it out. That would be really cool if we did. We're not going to, though. I already checked for photographs of this area. Anything? Where are they? There's one. Ooh, that's good, because that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so as we can see along these two lines, it connects to over here. I believe that this was some type of a long creation going through here. Oh, I'm going to have fun with these photos. Let's look at this one first. Okay, there you go. Now, come on. What the? I've already seen this. Is what a trail? I'll show you. It's not a trail. Let's get rid of these photos. I've already seen that. Let's look at this other one first. It's this darker content that was added onto the top of the plateau. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let's get out of these photos. Well, why not? So there's Rudolph's head. And you've got two canals. I haven't talked much about the second canal. It's right there. It's very, very prominent. It's also been eroded, but it's very straight in the middle. If you put a straight line right down the middle, you can follow it to right about here. You still kind of have a line kind of here, but then it seems like it's going underneath the sand. And then you have the sand here. So I think something like it was flood control more than it was used. I don't really think it was for mining slurry, like I've mentioned a few times. But back to the question about the trail. Thank you, Highseek Gaming. Yeah, it's not really. Yes, it's not a trail. It's not a trail. How does that happen from people walking? That's a cliff. I think it's a road. It's an ancient road. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. It bisects the mountain, and there is a division, as you can see, in the terracing layers. Now, when I say terracing, could be natural. I believe that content is placed in the middle there, and it blurps down. So I think that line happened during or after. Now, one more thing is, if you follow the saddle, so this terracing, you can see it separates, right? That goes around the mountain, but this one goes out, and you've got a saddle, and then you can kind of use the next one down here or here. This terracing goes out to another mountain. Okay, I don't want to keep you in suspense much longer. And you can see again that the other mountain has been bisected. Okay, it's bisectual. It's got a line going right through it. It's not exactly straight, but it goes right through. And you know what? That's kind of that could have been part of the problem. I do believe we're seeing it. And you don't see a line over here like you do on the other one. But it's not really a trail. And I don't know how high these mountains are. We can go check the topography out later. Oh, actually, I can show you right now. That's 663 meters above sea level. And then this one, that's the top of this is 663 meters. And the top of this one is 685 meters. The top of this over here is the highest point in the Adrar Plateau. That's 743 meters. And I do believe that's above sea level. And that's about 2,200 feet, right? Okay, now listen, I've been wanting to talk about this thing. Now, it does line up. So you've got those two mountains here. Whatever that is. What's that? This is interesting. Okay, now you see trails like that. I say those are animal trails. I don't know, because this is just rock. I don't know how an animal makes a trail on hard rock, but you do have sand. So some of these trails could be from animals or people. Okay, so you got those two mountains, and you do have something happen in the middle. Okay, looks like maybe it was even like a third mountain. That says 650. So here is 646. Up here is 685. So you're at the top of this mountain, 685. You go down to the edge of the bottom, 657. Then you're in here, it's 647, another 10 feet. And then at the top of this, it's 650, only 3 feet higher. And then when you get over here, this is 664. So it's a little bit, it's 20 feet higher than that. And it's, this is 685, and over here is 66, almost 5. It's 664, 20 feet difference. And then if you follow it straight out, this is what I've been wanting to show you this last 5 minutes. Cut out trail for travel. Who's going to travel over a mountain when they can go around? Okay, so now what you see here, this thing is like a wall that somebody added. You see the old plateau here and come out on the other side over here. Let's look straight down at it. And then you've got this thing laid out right on top of it. Okay, take another look. You've got the plateau here and here. The height right there is 665. The height over here, 677. The height up in the middle here, 746. Now, you've got this thing that was laid out and goes and follows along. And I showed you the image, right? That thing follows along. It was like a later addition. Okay, people. Michael Furby. You're not addressing the people here, Michael. This is my video. This is my live stream. Look at this thing. Look how it goes. I believe this was a wall. Let's look at this picture. And you see the stuff added to it on the top. It's very weird. You know, like a big old ridge. And why? Because I think they were holding a body of water here at one time. I think somehow this shoreline got created. This is a shoreline, guys. This is a shoreline. It's not just an escarpment. It got this line here. You can see it just goes right off the edge. Something is older. It's the lines on top of the plateau instead of the shoreline itself. And I've been here. I was on the road. I remember how wide this was. This is a vast. This is called the White Valley. I know the guy that owns all these trees, so he claimed. I'm going to go there someday and camp. I want to go here for a month. Okay, I've already talked for 39 minutes. I'm going to start that desert music one more time. I'm so tired of the mess-ups. Look at these lines on top. You see the 45-degree cut. So you see kind of parallel straight lines, right? And then suddenly you've got these 45-degree, what do you call those? Like a side cut. They're all going in the same direction. So we have two directions. We have this direction. We have this direction. Now, is there a third direction? No. But they seem like they're going across. But do you realize how much... This is like a 1,000-foot drop right here. There. That's actually a nice little saddle right there. You could probably cross over to get to the other side. But I'm telling you, whatever happened here on top of this, look at that. I mean, to me, this is a real red flag that something was going on these plateaus. And this is over near... This is a different plateau now because you've got this cut through. I always wondered if this straight line, which is not very straight, was actually a canal of some sort, cutting through from one side to the other, because you've got this great shoreline here that goes along, and that's the road that you take to get to the Richat. And if you... So many times I should have said to the driver, I want to hike over and look to this vast place, but I didn't do it because there's a big, huge... like body of water that got covered here, and you even have some kind of ancient dam work going across it. And over here, no, that's an artifact, but this is definitely some type of an ancient dam. I don't believe that was in the last 500 years. I mean, how long has the Sahara Desert been a desert? I went here. It's amazing to realize that just a little farther I could have gone down here. I really wanted to make it over here. I couldn't do it. Thank you for joining, Delia. Thank you for joining High Seeking Gaming. Ziggy Dan. Let's get my face off the picture so I can pick my nose. High Seek Gaming. Thank you. We've got a lot of people. Thank you, Michael, for saying that. I was just teasing you. You said, look at all that biblical old wood people. Where's the wood? The Adrar Plateau was petrified wood, sandstone. Thank you, Brody. Love too. I don't know where you were saying was sand, but I'm telling you, this whole plateau is hard. So when you're talking about the Richat structure being volcanic, where did the material go? It was, hey, then there's where that we had that wow, this is kind of a cool picture here. But I don't know. That couldn't be somebody just standing on the plateau, the Adrar. I've tried it. There was no place a man could stand and see that from that area. Because I used to think, oh, they knew that it had circles. No, it's so vast. When you're standing on the edge here, you can't see 3 layers. This is off the ground 1,000 feet or so. So, but Ziggy Dan, what you said on the Twitter about it being an electrical discharge from another planet. I've been talking about that for 5 years now because this has never said volcano to me. And then they try to say this is a volcano. What's that picture? Let's take a look at this one. What the heck? They're trying to play games with us. Oh, you know what? Did Candide erase all his I think he did. No, there he is. Sometimes I remember Candide's comments would disappear. I don't want to out Candide where he is. I keep wanting to click that. Okay, I'm pretty much done. I'm going to end with this nice music. Let's listen to the beautiful copyright-free music. I'm giving it a good test because if it does, there it is. If it raises some red flags, I don't want to get my next video demonetized. There's in shorts, there's a different way to add music, so you can use unmonetizable music in your shorts. It's very cool. Just want to see if I can get this without the music. Last time the music started. We'll mute that and we'll start this instead. Thank you guys for coming today. We'll chat for 1 minute.